We are super excited to have you guys on this episode today.
You kind of do got to step out on faith, love traveling.
Believe you have it, then you will achieve it. We just really want to talk about our experiences with dating icks, setting boundaries, and things of that nature. Because like she said, it's spooky season. Some of us are trying to look for our boo out here. You may want to take somebody home to your family or whatever during the holidays. I don't know, child, but I feel like y'all need to tune in so we can tell you what to look for and not to look for. But
dating is scary.
It's very scary. So I would like to talk about setting boundaries in a relationship first. I mean, what are your boundaries that you kind of set in the initial phases?
So when it comes to dating, boundaries I set are like, I'm not sending you no picture. If you want to see me, take me out. Mm-hmm. You're not coming.
What if it's a long distance relationship though? Like, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Well, long distance, I do send pictures. I feel like more easier, but I'm not just sending, like, if you're doing it, you're like, send me a pic, I'm not sending you a pic.
Okay.
Like, no, I'm not doing that. Even if you're long distance, I'm not doing that. You literally just see my pictures. I'm not doing that.
Right.
But if you're in person, you can take me out. You can see me.
Okay.
And I set boundaries by not giving out my real number.
Okay. Yeah, I think you did tell me that.
Yeah, I don't give out my real number. Mm-hmm. I don't connect with you on social media. That's a boundary.
So you heard that, gentlemen.
Yeah, you're not gonna be on my social media. I mean, unless if you watch a podcast, you might. But we don't even put our socials on our social media. We don't be like, follow us on Black Girl Then Podcast. Thanks. And then, well, I'm not paying for the first date. Oh, and you're not coming over to my house.
Okay, yes, that's a huge one.
Yeah,
I would rather go to their house. I'd rather not go to their house, period, on the first date or second or whatever. But definitely not coming to mine.
Well, why would you rather go to their house than them come to yours?
Because I know where they live at, but they don't know where I lay my head at.
I feel like it's scarier for you to go to their house because you don't know your whereabouts. You don't know your surroundings or
really?
nothing.
You think?
Yeah.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, I'm going to your house. I don't know what's going on, child. I don't know if you got something on your car. I don't know if you got cameras. Right. But at my house, I can be more aware. Like, I know where I live. I know my surroundings. So I don't even like the houses for the first day. I mean, I'm not even going to your house for real for a while.
Right.
But like, I'm definitely not going to your house first. I feel like you should come over to my house. Now, if we're dating, I will go over to your house all the time.
Right.
But like, if we're just like exclusive, like we're together. But I'm not just coming to your house. Like, I don't know you like that.
So, do you have any more boundaries, or do you feel like those are like the main ones?
I think those are the main ones. What about you?
Child, I feel like I'll go back and forth with my boundaries because it's like they break and bend.
Now, man, you try to hold tight with your boundaries with your friends, and the men you be.
No, I mean I do hold boundaries with them too, but I feel like it just depends, honestly.
How much you like them?
How much I like them, yeah. So I feel like boundaries. I think the main one is like them not coming over my house or whatever. If I've known them for a little bit and, I have been going over their house, I feel comfortable with them, then I will like let them know where I live at and stuff. But that may be a few months down the line. I've known people for months, like, and they never knew where I lived at, or even like a whole year. They never knew where I lived. And honestly, I'm very protective of like where I lay my head at and stuff like that. Generally, I try to take a good like account of people and, judge their character. Like, okay, I know this person, it seems like, they're a decent human being, or like even try to vet them and try to find out things about them. I'm like, okay, so I know he's cool or whatever. I think a huge boundary definitely is like calling me, because I don't like to be blown up. Like I don't want someone excessively texting me, calling me every single day. I think that's a boundary to be set in place even with a man, because I feel like if you're always hitting me up like all throughout the day, it's like, what are you doing? Like, you not busy or something?
So you don't want to hear from her every day from a call?
No. I'm saying that I do, but I don't need to be talking to you from sun up to sun down. Like, I'm busy. Like, I have things going on. So I'm like, that's fine if we can text and stuff throughout the day. But if you're just like, what you doing? Like, I don't like that. Like, I'm like, So
I hate what you're doing. We're going to get into that later, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and I think that another boundary is definitely like, if I tell you I don't want to do something, you keep on trying to get me to do it. I don't like that at all. Like, especially when it comes to like sex or whatever. Like, some guys kind of like press you. Like, some guys, they literally just don't wait. Like, it's weird to me, like how stuff works today. Like, you can meet someone at a bar and literally, like, you're over their house and then you have sex with them, like, the next day. And I'm like, to me, it's just crazy. Like, but y'all don't want to put no rings on our fingers. Y'all don't want to date us, though. But y'all would go to that extent. So I think that's a huge boundary. If I'm like, no, one thing I don't like is if I try to tell somebody, like, I'm celibate. It's like a challenge to them to try to press you against something that you don't want to do. Mm-hmm. And that's like, as soon as you find out a man, that's like a red flag. Like, as soon as you find, I'm going to get into that. As soon as you find out, like, a man's not trying to honor, like, your boundary, you need to leave. Like, so, I mean, back in therapy, like, I'm like, definitely got to practice what you preach. But she was like, if you see yellow flags, attend to it. If you see red flags, run. Like, so.
Yeah, I don't even really bring up sex. They're going to bring it up. And so you're going to kind of see where it goes. So, like, when they bring it up, or like how soon they bring it up, I kind of do it. But I don't even try to talk about it as much. So then, like, I don't try to lead with that. But then dudes, when they get comfortable, then that's when they'll try you. But I was going to say, to the boundary, actually, one of my boundaries is I don't really like talking about work.
Oh, okay.
To my...
what do you mean work? Like your 9 to 5, or like you mean like podcasting, or all of it?
Well, and all of it, actually. But this dude, he was like, oh, what do you do for work, or whatever? And I was like, well, I mean, I just started a new job, so I'm truly training. I don't even know what it is. So I'm like, it's hard for me to explain. He was like, he was like, oh, call me so you can explain it. I was like, what? It's not that serious. Then he's like, it is that serious. You get paid from it. Like, boy, I do not talk about my job. Like, I barely talk about my job. Even to my friends and my family, like, sometimes I do if I don't like it or whatever. But like, even another guy, he's like, oh, how's work? Like, can you quit asking me about work? And then you don't ask me about my passion, so you don't get to know me. Like, my job is not me. It's what I do to pay the bills.
Right.
But then on the other hand, I don't really talk about what I do in my podcasting. I'm a little bit more open now. I talk about a little bit more, but yeah, but like talking about work, like that's not fun to me. You're not going to get to know who I am. Like, I don't want to talk about what I did for 8 hours a day. Like, no, I want to talk about things that I like, or like what you do. Like, I want to get to know you, not really like what you do for your job. So.
Right. Until your point, to add to that, I think another boundary is definitely like finances and stuff. Like, I don't mind you asking like what my credit score is. I'm like, that's just kind of normal or whatever. Like, I don't feel like you should be asking that on the first day. That's kind of weird. But I feel like if you haven't started really dating me, I don't think you should be asking me like how much money I make and like what your financial goals and stuff like that are. Like, why are you trying to know how much I got in my bank account or whatever?
I don't really get those questions. I would ask somebody what their credit score is if they like brought up. So like if a dude, if we on a date, he's like, yeah, I want to get married. Like, I like you. I want to take, okay, how much you make? Okay, do you have finances?
So you are okay with asking it right off the bat?
If the conversation leads to it. Like if he's like, I want to get married. I'm like, okay, yeah. I'm like, are you ready to get married? They'd be like, maybe like, I want to get married. I want to settle down. Yeah, but are you ready for that? And are you ready to protect and provide? Because as y'all heard me saying, I want to stay at home when I have kids.
Yeah.
So I'm like, we could talk about it. I'm fine with my credit score, so I don't care. The people who don't want to talk about their credit score, I don't know what their credit score is at.
Right.
So
they got some work to do, I guess.
Yeah. So I don't know, and also, I mean, we're women. You can, how we said last episode, you can research, you can kind of figure out if he says he's a financial analyst, if he says he works in cybersecurity, or if he said he work in the freaking factory. You can kind of know what they say and how you go, and you know how they work. So like, you kind of just gotta like really watch what they do and see who they are.